nothing, or everything. Yeah, according to Caesars Sportsbook, the Brooklyn Nets odds improved from 25-1 to 18-1 after the news that they will likely land Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant in free agency. Are those odds something, nothing, or everything, friends? I mean, go.
I'm going to say nothing, right? Because as long as Durant doesn't play, this team is a good team, but not a championship team. So we're still a year away from starting to talk about Brooklyn in that way.
What do you think?
I think they're everything compared to the Knicks odds. Because the Knicks are now 100-1.
Right.
That's the difference of a KD.
They were 25-1?
25, or I think 30-1,
30-1.
down to 100-1.
Sorry, producer Steve. Continue.
And then, it's even for a guy who's going to miss all next year.
Right.
It says a lot.
Dave, even if you had all the money in the world, would you bet the Knicks to win the title next year at 100-1?
No.
And there we go. Do you think the Nets have a shot to win the title without Kevin Durant back?
No, I would take something because Kenny Atkinson got really smart in the last 3 hours. And his coaching acumen has gone through the roof. His X's and O's are much better right now.
Amazing. I want to also point out, though, as long as we are talking about the Knicks, WOJ reporting that Julilus Randle has agreed, and we talked about this was brewing in the last segment, 3-year, $63 million deal with the Knicks. So look, I mean, they're obviously in their post-Kevin Durant world strategy. Ramona also told us during the break that she's expecting meetings with players like Bobby Portis. What do you think, Coach, as we go into this with the Knicks? This is who they have now as they go forward here.
Yeah, dude, go out and be a hard-playing bunch of guys. Fizz is that way. He's going to get them to play hard. I think that's what everybody in Madison Square Garden wants. I don't worry about the name on the back of the jersey. Let's go out there and let's compete. Let's be hard-nosed and give people some problems.
We talked about on the pre-draft show that if they don't land Durant, there's not a rush to go out and spend the $70 million any which way.
Right.
And so Randle he's a productive player, right? The number is a little high, but you've got a ton of cap space and flexibility. Just as long as they don't go crazy and start giving out long-term deals just to anybody who's got a pulse. But in terms of a guy who can come in, rebound the ball, finish at a high percentage, and then can do a little stuff off the dribble, push the ball off the floor, he's a nice addition for them.
I'm happy for him because he dealt with the turmoil of the Lakers a couple of years ago, trying to clear the cap space to get LeBron. Then he dealt with turmoil in New Orleans this year, trying to trade for Anthony Davis.
So it should be nice and quiet for him. Nothing's ever happening there, and there's no controversy.
You did a good job. You earned a nice payday. But the thing is, if you're a Knicks fan, you think back the summer of 2010, we want to get LeBron, we got Amari Stoudemire.
Who's hurt most of the time.
Yeah, and this summer, and Julius Randle has proven to himself not to have the health concerns that Amari did, but you had all this excitement, and he may be kind of getting the target of that, even though it's nothing against him. He just, he's the guy available.
Yeah, he's the guy who's available.
Yeah. We talked about them maybe on that pre-draft show, maybe trying to shore up just with short-term one-year deals. This is not that, of course. Now it's not all the money that they had there. But when you look at the next free agent class coming, again, Anthony Davis could be in that class, but the Lakers certainly expect him to re-sign with them.
Right.
Draymond Green, probably the biggest name possibly available, although you just heard Ramona say and Nick say that perhaps the Warriors would be interested in working out that extension with him. So I don't know who's coming for the Knicks, really, compared to who their fan base expectation was.
Yeah, and there's an argument to be made that it's not next summer, it's 2 summers from now, which is a long time to ask people to wait. But then again, they've been waiting this long anyway in New York. It's not like they were really good a couple of years ago. So since 1973 is up.
Steve just said in all of our ears. Don't worry, long-suffering Knicks fans. You've got a friend in the control room, and we might have a friend for you in the next segment too. Coach, you mentioned Coach Fizdale and sort of what he has to deal with in all of this. He also had the expectation, hey, I might be getting these guys. The owner went on the radio and said, big free agents want to come here. Yes. They've traded away Kristaps Porzingis, who when he was hired, his expectation was, I'm going to get to coach him. What does a coach do now? You say, oh, gee, it's not the name on the back of the jersey. How do you rally this team?
You got to pivot. I mean, he's a very good communicator, and so you might have thought you're going to play one way, and that's just the way that the league is now with the shorter contracts. You're not going to be entrenched. We were in Memphis there for 8 years. We played the same style, 9 years. Shorter contracts, you're going to have to be able to pivot from year to year and get all you can out of your players. I think that's a good signing, Julilus Randle.
The irony is, if we just remove all the context, the Knicks actually have something to be excited about, right? Dennis Smith Jr., you got Mitchell Robinson, you got Kevin Knox. I mean, they're young players who are finding their way, but they look like they have a lot of potential, and Julilus Randle fits with that age group. The problem is you've been selling the world on massive names, and New York is not a forgiving town when it comes to things you promised versus things that we got.
Yeah, well, I mean, you say a forgiving town. We have Stephen A. Smith that I'm waiting to hear. Are we able to get him? All right, so we're going to have him in just a few minutes for you.
By the way, one last thing. Think about this. It's not just they lost Kevin Durant and Kyrie. They lost it to the team that's 20 minutes away on the subway.
Well, that was what I'm going to ask Stephen A. about, because, look, there's no one who I think will be able to verbalize the Knicks fans' frustration quite the way Stephen is. He is getting mic'd up. We're going to take a quick break, and we will come back with Stephen A. and his thoughts on the New York Knicks, because, you know, who else were we going to ask? You're going to want to hear this.
Put this magnet up or no? Is it even going to stick? I don't know.
You can try it. Go put it up during the break.